Hare Krishna. We continue reading from teachings of Queen Kunti. We are on prayer number 10. We have been reading the purport by Srila Prabhupada. And it's just, the purport is a bit long and I lose the place, but I'll read the translation again. My obeisances are unto you, who are the property of the materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material modes of nature. You are self-satisfied, and therefore you are the most gentle and are the master of the monist. So this is in Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 27. And we're going to continue reading the purport by Srila Prabhupada, where Prabhupada is saying that Krishna, why is he the property of the impoverished? Why? Because a soul, we don't have any, we don't possess anything material. Whatever we are thinking, it belongs to us, actually is related to the body, but not to the soul. So once one has realized that, and he's established, he's understood everything belongs to Krishna, then Krishna is his only property. So reading on. Generally, people go to a church or temple to pray to God for material prosperity. Oh God, give us our daily bread. But although they are approaching God for material prosperity, give me this, give me that, they are also considered pious because they approach God, unlike the atheists who never approach him. So now I might have a lot of material desires. I want this and I want that. And then, so I go to the temple or I go to the church and I pray, my dear God, I want this. My dear God, please give me this, give me that. Then with this attitude, this kind of persons are considered pious. Why? Because they are understanding that everything belongs to God and God has the power to give me this. So this kind of mentality is pious. But what do the atheists? What is the atheist mentality? Why shall I approach God? I shall create my own wealth, and by advancement of science, I shall be happy. One who thinks for my own prosperity, I shall depend on my own strength and my own knowledge is a dushkriti, a most sinful person. But one who thinks my prosperity depends on the mercy of God is pious. So here we are being told that what is my what is my, what do you say, baseline? What is my thinking? That I understand that I can be prosperous, I can get good things, or whatever I'm getting, it is not by my strength and knowledge, but my well-being depends on God, on God's mercy. So this is pious. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita in 7th chapter. And then if I'd say, no, why shall I go to God? I can get my own knowledge. I can get my own wealth. I can get my own strength. Who's God? There's no God. I am who I am. Then I will be called Duskriti, a most sinful person. So why, even if I have a lot of material desires, if I'm going to God, I'm called pious? Because I'm able to understand the superior position of God and I'm able to understand my position. So even if I have material desires, if I'm able to understand that I'm getting everything by God's mercy, I'm still called pious. It is a fact that without the sanction of God, nothing can be achieved. Tavat tanur idam tanupekshitanam. We have discovered many methods by which to counteract distress. But when freedom from such distress is not sanctioned by God, these methods will fail. For example, a sick man may have very good medicine and a qualified physician. But if we ask the physician, can you guarantee the life of this patient? The doctor will say, no, I cannot do so. I try my best, that's all. An intelligent doctor knows the ultimate sanction is in the hand of God. I am simply an instrument. If God does not want the patient to live, then all my medicines and all my scientific medical knowledge will fail. We can see that also. Otherwise, now the medical field is is so good, is so advanced. There's treatment for so many practically all the diseases, yet people die. Why? Why? Because it's in God's hand, not in our hand. Not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Lord. Not a blade of grass can move without the sanction of the Lord. That is what we need to understand. The ultimate sanction, therefore, is Krishna. Those who are foolish do not know this, and therefore they are called mudha, rascals. They do not know that although whatever work they are doing may be very good, if it is not ultimately sanctioned by God, by Krishna, it will all be a failure. On the other hand, a devotee knows, with whatever intelligence I have, I may try to become happy, but without Krishna's sanction, I shall never be happy. This is the distinction between a devotee and a non-devotee. So if we try to understand that whatever that I am dependent on Krishna, that is the point. When we can try to understand that I'm dependent on Krishna for my well-being, for my maintenance, for my strength, for my beauty, for my intelligence, for my knowledge, whatever, for my happiness, I'm dependent on Krishna, then that is our correct position. But if we continue to think, no, it's not Krishna, it's me, I can do it by myself. Who's Krishna? I don't need him. Then that mentality we need to correct. That's the reason we are here in this material world. This is what we need to try to understand, that how dependent we are on Krishna. We are very dependent on him, but we are not willing to accept it. We are not willing to see it. For example, a 2-year-old child, he's seeing the father is driving. So he wants to drive the car. And so, of course, the child has no capability to drive the car. But the father, out of his kindness, he puts the child on the lap and puts the hand on the steering wheel. And so the child starts thinking, oh, I'm driving. He can't see the father at the back. He says, oh, I'm driving it, without understanding, oh, it's my father who's doing it. It's not me. So this is what we need to understand. As mentioned before, Krishna says, one who tries to approach me to become Krishna conscious, but at the same time wants to become materially happy, is not very intelligent. He's wasting his time. Our main business is to become Krishna conscious. That is the main business of human life. If we waste our time striving for material improvement and forget to chant Hare Krishna, that will be a great loss. Therefore, Krishna says, Ami Vigya e Murkhe Vishaya Kena Diba. Caitanya Caritamrta, Madhya 22:39. A rascal may ask some material prosperity from me in exchange for discharging devotional service. But why shall I give him material prosperity? Rather, whatever he has, I shall take away. So then we'll get scared. Oh my God, if I pray to Krishna, he's going to take away everything. So I'm not going to pray to him. I'm not going to chant Hare Krishna because Krishna is going to take away everything. We have to understand that Krishna is our kind father. A kind father is never going to do something for which is going to be harmful to the child. Even if the father needs the child to learn the lessons, he's going to teach it in such a way that the child is going to learn the lesson and not get broken by it. And so Krishna, to a pure devotee, and this is when the devotee is like really, he's really very sincere, and he really wants Krishna consciousness, then Krishna, but he still has some material desire. Then Krishna knows, but if I fulfill his material desire, he's just going to be in the material world longer time, So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to increase his desire for Krishna consciousness so he can come back home, back sooner. When our material assets are taken away, we become very morose. But that is the test. That was stated by Krishna himself to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj inquired from Krishna, we are completely dependent on you, but still we are suffering materially so much. Our kingdom has been taken away, our wife has been insulted, and our enemies attempted to burn us in our house. How can this be so? Krishna replied, Yasyaham anugranami harishetad dhanam shane. Yes, that is my first business. If I especially favor someone, then I take away all his sources of income and place him into great difficulty. In this way, Krishna is very dangerous. So Prabhupada is saying, if someone is, Krishna is dangerous like that, because Krishna is saying that if I favor someone, I will take away all his material things. I'm going to take it away. Why? So that that person can take full shelter of me, can fully surrender into me. And so he does not need to wait so long to come back home. He can come back home to me immediately. So Prabhupada is speaking of his own, I have actual experience in this connection. I do not wish to narrate this whole story, but it is a fact that I received Krishna's special favor in this way. When I was 25 years old, my Guru Maharaj, my spiritual master, ordered me to go preach. But I thought, first of all, I shall become a rich man, and then I shall use my money to finance the preaching work. I had good opportunities to become a very rich businessman. An astrologer even told me that I should have become as rich as the wealthiest man in India. There were very good chances. I was the manager of a big chemical factory. I started my own factory, and the business was very successful, but eventually everything collapsed. And in this way, I was forced into the position of carrying out the orders of my Guru Maharaj. When all my material assets were taken away, then I approached Krishna saying, you are the only shelter. Therefore, Krishna is akinchana vita, the property of the materially impoverished. When one is bereft of all material opulences, then one turns to Krishna. And now I am realizing that I have not lost, but gained. Prabhupada is saying he could have become the richest man, but Krishna took everything away from him, his money, his family. Why? So he could follow the instruction of what his Guru Maharaj had told him to preach the message of Bhagavad Gita in the West. And then Prabhupada is saying, and then I turned to Krishna, you're my only shelter. And then he says, I realized I have not lost. I didn't lose anything, but in fact, I gained. That I was the greatest gainer, that Prabhupada is saying, what I lost was just material possessions, but I gained. What did I gain? That's the highest spiritual bliss, gained Krishna. So to lose material opulences for Krishna's sake is not a loss, rather it is the greatest gain. When one becomes akinchana, having nothing to possess, Krishna becomes one's only riches. Expressing this understanding, Narottam Das Thakur says, Aha Prabhu Nanda Sutta Vrishabhanu Sutta Yuta Karuna Karahe Eibar Narottama Dasa Kahe Na Theliya Ranga Paya Tumi Vina Ke Ache Amar. Krishna, but for you I have nothing to claim. I have no possessions. You are my only possession. So please don't neglect me. Then what happens when we are speaking this way to Krishna? Then we are attracting Krishna's mercy. When a child cries out, a baby, when a baby cries for the mother knows the cry of the child, There's different cries that the child is just artificially crying, give him a toy and he'll be satisfied. But there is a special cry the mother knows. Now I have to pick up my child. He's not going to be pacified with any milk or any toy. No, nothing. He needs me. So when we cry out to Krishna, then Krishna comes. Krishna comes. That is what is needed, to take complete shelter of Krishna. Complete shelter. Krishna says, no, surrender unto me. He says that in Bhagavad Gita, surrender unto me. So when we call out to Krishna in that way, that is surrender. That is surrender. We'll stop here for today. Continue reading tomorrow. And so how do we come to this point? Now we may say, oh, but I have material desires. I'm so attached to my material things. I can't cry out to Krishna like this. Krishna, but for you I have nothing to claim. I have no possessions. But we have to understand that we are conditioned souls. That's the reason we are here in the material body. It's the great liberated souls that are speaking like this. These are the prayers of the liberated souls. Narottam Das Thakur, the Yudhishthir Maharaj. These are all great, great liberated personalities. So what can we do? We can just pray, chant, hearing and chanting, accepting our position. Oh, my dear Krishna, I have a lot of material desires. I can't help it. But yet, I want you, and continue to hear and chant. That's all. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think we all can relate to this.
Yeah, just continue to hear it, because that's just be honest with our position.
Yeah, because as you always say that he's there in our heart and he knows it all. So then what's the use of denying and lying and whatever? So better accept and pray to him in an acceptance, true acceptance.
Yeah, because when we are denying, we are just cheating ourselves. Krishna knows the truth, right?
Yeah,
we are just trying to cheat ourselves and cheat others.
Yeah. So yeah, that's absolutely right. And then sometimes that's the point that at least we need to tell that, yeah, I know I'm wrong, but this is what it is. What can I do? Help me.
Yes, that's humility, right? Understanding my position right now, understanding that, yes, I am in the wrong, accepting it, that is humility. And Krishna, I am in this material world. I am inside the material body. I am identifying with the body. So I have material desires. It's a fact. We have to accept it. But if we pretend, no, I'm already liberated, then I'm just pretending. Then how will I take shelter of Krishna? How will I be able to call out to him?
And then the best part is that in everything, whatever we do, the answer is always hearing and chanting.
Yes.
So then that's the right path we are on, because everything's answer is hearing and chanting.
Thank you. Yes.
Right?
Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful. Continue to hear and chant. What else can we do? Continue to hear and chant. Oh, very good. Thank you. We'll stop here on this nice note. Thank you so much for listening in and joining in. Kunti Maharani ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.